oil. Now, we made this in a previous video. If you would like to know how to make that, you can check back to our other videos and find out how to there. So the reason why we are making it with our MCT oil today is because of the little to no taste that MCT oil has, and it offers the gummies a really great consistency. So the equipment and ingredients that you'll need for this process are a cup or bowl of just some warm water. You'll want your double boiler here. It can be kind of any size. We're using a smaller one because we're doing smaller batches by color. Then you'll also want a spatula for scraping it out. You'll want your molds. You can use any sort of gummy molds you want, but the size of them will also change the dosing of your final product. So keep that in mind. Other ingredients and equipment you need is just a gummy bear dropper, a tablespoon. You'll want your gummy bears assorted by color or whatever gummies you're using. We are doing batches of about 28 gummy bears. And you'll want your food coloring and your infused MCT oil. Alright, so our first step is to preheat our double boiler. So you will just want to...
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the heart of Texas and the very wonderful AT&T Stadium in Arlington. A moment ago, here was the scene with the Cowboys emerging from their tunnel. It was loud. It's still loud. We're ready for football as the Cowboys get set to match up with the Chicago Bears. Jakeem Grant now to return. And he takes it to 25, just a little pass there, call it the 26.
Right, you want to put your gummies into the double boiler to melt them down. You can grab your infused oil and your tablespoon. And for this recipe, we're going to do 4 tablespoons of oil. Now this can be played around with depending on how strong you want, but since it doesn't have much of a taste, you can put a little bit more and still come out with a great tasting product. So, we'll add our 4 tablespoons here. Awesome. Once you've added your oil, you can grab your
Fields on first down. And he finds his target. It's Marquise Goodwin. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44.
But it does help the classification process. So, let's put your 2 tablespoons in here.
On first and 10, here's Fields.
And one thing to note,
he's going to dump that off to his running back, Cohen. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. To throw again on 2nd down. Fields, man open, it's good.
Good shit, good shit.
Some open field here. Touchdown, Chicago. Well, when you've got a guy like Marquise Goodwin, a former Olympian, mind you, you've got to devise ways to get the football in his hands.
They caught us slipping, fellas.
And that's the kind of play where you have to kind of catch your breath afterwards and just give me a second here, because when he shifted into high gear, he was an absolute blur out there. No substitute for speed. We talk about that all the time. The evidence was right there.
And the final clocking on the next-gen stats there, how about this? 22.1 miles per hour. Wow. Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away.
Just wait for this to melt down. And once we start to see it melt down, you'll want to just keep stirring.
This one will come out to the 25 as Pollard is going to elect not to return it.
Alright, so now I've added all my ingredients and they are melted down. And just giving them a really good stir to homogenize the whole mixture. The ingredients in this mixture do tend to separate quite a bit, so you want to mix, and when you think you've done your mixing, mix some more. Or else what will happen is when you fill them in the molds, you'll end up with 2 different layers of oils and gummy, which you don't want. So to homogenize it completely, you just stir, stir, stir until...
So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Here's the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. And
I'll take it.
About 4, second down coming up.
Brandon, we just saw the benefits of being able to run the ball successfully. They pick up 4 yards on that carry. So now, if you're a play caller, you can do just about anything you want, but on the defensive side of the ball, you scramble a little bit. Now you're behind, trying to figure out, do I need to blitz it? Do I need to pressure? How do I gain an advantage on this snap?
Which it does quite quickly. It'll start to get really gooey and might bang up your dropper here. So to avoid that, keep on heat if you can, and if not, make sure you're always stirring it and keep as warm as you can during the process.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6.
So this mixture,
We can do that. Send it.
Added to it. The bears were a little bit bigger than these molds, so you would come out.
He didn't seem in a rush. I guess they just didn't know the play clock was.
I think you're right about that because there was no hurried movements there, right? No up.
So you just want to take a little bit at a time, or else it just sticks in your dropper. And you'll just fill each mold. You don't want to fill it up too much, just to the baseline there. And repeat with each row until all of your mixture is in the molds. Alright, so as we're filling the molds, some of the water in the mixture will evaporate, so your mixture might get a little bit thicker in consistency. And to fix this, you just want to take your dropper and just take a couple drops of water and add it back in. And that should help with the consistency a little bit. You'll want to make sure that is all homogenized again before you start filling the molds. And once you've stirred it all, then you can continue. You can do this incrementally until the end of the batch. However, just keep note how much you're putting in, because you don't want to change the dosage consistency of the bears. Alright, that's probably good. And then I'll just have to fill these up.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the heart of Texas and the very wonderful AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Obviously, they do everything big here in Dallas, and the introduction of the Cowboys, no exception. They're set for football in Big D as their guys will do battle with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And once it's set,
this is Tony Pollard.
You can take it out, and sometimes they will get really sticky.
And all in all, a pretty solid return. Nearly got it to the 35. They'll mark him down officially at the 34.
Sugar for a little bit of sour taste. That'll prevent them from sticking. Storage-wise, you can keep them in the fridge or the freezer. That'll keep the consistency the best. If you do keep them out, make sure it is below 20 to 25 degrees, just because if they get warm, they will melt and make a giant puddle wherever you've stored them. Alright, so to store your gummies in the fridge, a really easy and safe way to store them is you want to put them on something hard like a plate.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
Everywhere, because they will be in a little bit of a liquid state form until they're set. So you can just put it under the...
Now the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. And he's got room. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. Opening quarter, his opening carry of the game, and I think they'll give it to him a few more times, as they should.
You're exactly right about that. With that type of a run, you want to repeat it many times until they show signs of stopping it. I think he did his visualization exercises before this one, and they're paying off.
Taken out of their molds. These were just in the fridge overnight. And they can still see that they're a little bit sticky, and they might be a little bit hard to get out of the mold. If that's the case, you can throw it in the freezer.
So in Jacksonville territory now, here's a 1st and 10, right at the 40. They run it for the first time with Tony Pollard.
Good hit.
Getting 4 down to the 36.
I feel like I can see what he was thinking on that carry. Wanted to follow that big tackle through the hole. Ended up only getting 4 yards on the carry. I think he had designs on that one being bigger.
From the 36, Prescott swinging this out for Pollard. And down about the 20-yard line.
I like it. I I like it. I like it. Get everyone involved in the passing game. And you know you create those great mismatches throwing it to your guys out of the backfield.
And on the first drive, that can also help establish some rhythm, right?
I think so. It gets everyone involved. They feel like they're part of it. It really gets them amped up as they go
just let that motherfucker in free. Good shit.
In his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That's a heck of an effort from Josh Allen getting in there defensively. He'll have to deal with a 2nd and 14 now after the loss. Prescott. He finds his target. It's Schultz.
Good tackle.
They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players. Somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Try to run for it with Pollard. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. Had a chance to maybe limit them to 3 if they could have gotten that stop there, but a new set of downs.
And with the new set of downs, you got to take the mentality of the whole thing. Right now, everyone's looking at the offense.
And he will take it in for a Cowboys score.
Good shit, fellas.
Ezekiel Elliott. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run. And the Cowboys have taken the early lead.
Hey, bud, Sarah here, the Chronicrafter. Thanks for joining
Now
me.
Greg Zuerlein on for the extra point. And this is up and good to make it 7-0 Cowboys. Now after the touchdown, it's Zuerlein. He'll kick it away. This taken in at the goal line. And good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20.
So you'll have the recipe to go back and look at when you're ready to make your own gummies. So you're getting all of your tools and ingredients out, and your gummies can move pretty fast, so you don't want to be scrambling looking for things when you need them. Your first step is to take the 4 packs of gelatin and mix them with half a cup of water or juice. You're going to mix it up, and you'll know it's thoroughly mixed when it gets thicker and kind of forms like a gel-like consistency.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20.
So for this, you're going to set up the double boiler on the stove.
Caught on the right side by Jones. They'll contain him to just 4. 2nd down.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
If you're using granular lecithin, make sure you mix it up really well. You don't want any clumps left over. All right, once that is all
2nd and 6.
down low and then on to the next step, which is making the dough. So you're putting the other half cup of either water or juice into the other pot you have on the stove.
Now Lawrence.
And heat up to a rolling boil.
Now the pressure comes and he goes down just inside the 10, back at the 9. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence applied the heat.
Then you're going to want to add in your lemon juice or other mold inhibitor. Now it's time to take your blue gelatin and throw it into the mix, put it in the double boiler, and then mix it all together. Now you can add your flavorings. If you're using Loran's, you want to use like 5 to 10 drops. Now,
after the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off at the 33. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Cowboy defense has a touchdown. And this defense looking like they have come to play the pick 6, and just like that, it's 13-0 early on.
Well, go back with me to our training camp visits. What do we hear during these drills? Pass. reception. That means they might find someone to block them legally, stay on your feet, and they get it done. Touchdown.
So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. Now Jamal Agnew from his end zone. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much as he's marked down officially at the 21.
After that half an hour, hopefully take them out of the mold. You can eat them right now, it's really fine, but before you store them, you have to let these gummies air dry for 24
Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And they gave up the pick six, and now they'll be looking to right the ship here. Now, as a quarterback, are you a little more cautious this go around?
You should be, just because after what you gave up, but you can't be so cautious as to just really take things in, and now you're not going to play loose enough to give your team a chance to score. But you still have to be careful, because those defensive guys, I know the reputation defense guys can't catch. All evidence to the contrary in that last possession.
From the 24, Lawrence. Now he'll let it go deep right side. And that's caught inside the 35. And he takes it down deep on the Cowboys side of the field. It's a big play for the Jaguars. We know he's good at catching the football, but then after the catch, he's got escapability.
Not only that, he's got some toughness as well, because you know he's coached very hard to make sure he battles through, breaks tackles, and then they finish with, don't fumble the football.
And he gets him a little bit closer and takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4. Be interesting to see now what they do offensively down near the goal line after not much there that time.
As the offensive play caller, that may change your sequence now. Instead of coming right back with a running play, you may have to go to the air.
2nd and goal from inside the 5. Once more, ETN. And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they can let a tackler through.
Good shit.
Touchdown, Jacksonville. James O'Shaughnessy there to make the grab. And the Jaguars are back within a score. Point after, right down the middle. And that'll cut the lead down to a touchdown.
Any brand of unflavored delicacies you want to use, just make sure that's unflavored. Use 4 packs. All right, so that's what we're going to do.
After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away.
Pot with 8 cups of water here.
Now Pollard.
I have a Pyrex measuring cup here. This has a cup of water.
And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
The stove here. We're going to go ahead and get our coconut oil ready. This is our infused coconut oil. All right, so we melted this right here in the microwave. This is our infused oil. And so then we're going to take half cup.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. That last drive, it was a good mix. Run, pass, defense on their toes.
And what really helps out in a big way is when you're doing the run-pass mix and everything's working, that means that they're guessing wrong every time on defense. They think you're going to pass when you run and vice versa. I would continue that, and when they finally draw a beat on you, maybe mix it up a little bit, a little play action and throw the ball.
And will they maintain that balance? Time to find out. From the 27, Prescott. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Lamb. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. And defensively they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
They'll get 6 on the play, and it's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. We've hit the 2-minute mark in the second quarter, 14-7. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. On second down, Elliott once more. And he'll take this one across the 45 up to about the 46-yard line. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he's got the first down yardage there as he takes it just across midfield.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the room quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
We're going to put in our last package of...
On 1st and 10, Prescott. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
On 2nd down now, it's Elliott. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. 50 yards rushing now on 8 carries for him so far.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
Prescott looks to throw on first.
Good deep, good deep.
It's intercepted. Rayshawn Jenkins picks it off. And the Jags are going to have the short field.
Good short.
Right at the 50. Well, this was a 14-0 game not too long ago. Things were looking pretty good. And then you give up the touchdown on the last drive. Now the interception.
So that's a lesson in trying to stay vigilant, isn't it? You have to stay on top of things. Can't relax too much because, as you noted, things change. Now they've got to go out there and get a spark.
I need that ball back, bro.
This comeback.
Well, the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout as they stop it with 19 seconds to go in half number 1. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. They'll find ETN out of the backfield. Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. Lawrence, and they're going to get him. He's taken down for a sack back at the 47-yard line. Now here's a timeout as they're going to get it with 8 seconds remaining here in the first half. They'll break the huddle here and go for it. This is 4th down. And they'll try and throw for it with Lawrence. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Boy, a real head-scratcher there. And Dallas, they'll take over in terrific field position. And you see the clock almost empty, so this is likely the last play in the second quarter. Final play of the half, Prescott. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. So we have come to halftime here in Dallas with the Cowboys out in front. As we send you to our EA studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gunn, getting set for quarter number 3 here. The Jaguars with work to do. They trail here as we are back underway on EA Sports. Jamal Agnew now to return it. And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line.
welcome to the tunnel. Today we're going to be making candidates that are bears. So let's get to it.
Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And they do trail, but they have a chance to possess the football first to try and do something about it.
And that certainly makes it something of an important drive for them, because is it going to win the game? No, but you have to do something to bring some life to your sideline.
5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. Another toe for ETN. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds.
The more football I watch, the more I want to check and see if teams are going to panic when they're down on the scoreboard. And this team has shown no signs of doing that. A lot of the time, they come out after the half. Things haven't worked so well in the first go-around. They want to throw the football like crazy. But the way to open up throwing the ball is to run it. And they've run it well here to start the second half.
That's me. My fault, fellas. Good shit.
Pass midfield before being stopped just before the 35. Back in the first quarter, you said it. They need to avoid the big
time for a pick, baby.
Got a big one right there.
You can't relax, you know. We talked about it in the first quarter, but as the game progresses, still opportunities, and he took advantage of it.
Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 38. Jabril Cox able to drop him for a loss of a couple.
Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of lecithin so that makes some sugar.
Now following the sack, they'll come up here on a 2nd down and 12. Out of the gun, it's Lawrence. Finds the open target, Arnold. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down. They'll run with ETN. And he's going to get the 1st down here as he's taken down at the 22. They go play action with Lawrence. Under pressure,
good
and
D.
Down. Sacked back at the 31. Micah Parsons came in there hard on the blitz and got him down 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Lawrence flushed, and he's going to go down again. Micah Parsons able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
Okay, let's go back a little bit and see if my schooling comes to the front. What's that old saying? Those who forget the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. That's the same guy who's gotten back-to-back sacks. I think a double team may be in order.
Now on 3rd and forever, he'll look to throw. Looking downfield for Jones. Oh, he tries to force it in. It's intercepted. Picked off down near the 5. And he'll return it to the 24-yard line. So it was a drive that had real promise here to begin the 3rd quarter. But
my drive had promise too.
And that was the position you wanted to be in. Coming out to start this 3rd quarter, get a nice drive going, looking for the end zone. Possibly got a little bit too greedy right there.
The Dallas offense here set to begin the drive. They'll start the drive with Elliott. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. 73 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10. They'll run left with Pollard.
Good tackle.
Take this across midfield into Jacksonville territory. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
10th carry now for Elliott.
Good hit.
And that will do it for the 3rd quarter of action. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his third down play as we played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Again, it's Elliott. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41.
I think we're seeing the effect that runs like that are starting to have on this game. They're a little bit slower. That front 7 reacting to the football, almost like body blows in boxing, slowing them down, and they're really starting to take over in this game.
A first down carry by Elliott. And he'll bring this one inside the 35. A gain of 4 last play. They double that here and get 8. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what we said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction.
Good hit, good hit.
Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
So give them 5 yards there on the pitch and catch. And that'll make this a second down. Looking to throw. Prescott.
Good D, dog. I seen you coming up. You got lucky.
Situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things they consider safe.
Now back to the ground with Elliott.
Good.
Downhill running. He's got 6 yards down to the 13.
Well, partner, Marvin, our #1 stats guy just handed me a little card that says he has 97 yards on the ground today. You think he's going to get the ball again?
I think so. 3 away from that century mark. Got to have it.
Yeah, and I think what they're going to call is one of his favorite runs, whatever he feels comfortable with, and what the offensive line has executed well today to try and get him over 100 yards.
So the Cowboys in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They're facing a critical 3rd down now as they try to hold on to this lead. And he gets the first down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. It carries like that. That's
good game.
Happy holidays from everybody at Bon Appetit.
Yay, I go for that.
Thanks, Donna. I'm in Northern California, Weedtopia, because Nona Marijuana, one of the most beloved characters on Bon Appetit, invited me to have dinner with her for Christmas Eve. We're out here on this beautiful patch of land where Nona's daughter, Val, runs WHAM, an organization that provides medical cannabis for people who can't afford it. Nona happens to be a fantastic Italian cook, and I can't